The General Assembly will now hear an address by His Excellency Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, President of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
You have the floor.
In the name of God, the Compassionate, the Merciful. All praise be to Allah, the Lord of the universe, and peace and blessing be upon our Master and Prophet Muhammad and his pure household and his noble comparisons. O God, hasten the arrival of Imam al-Mahdi and grant him the good health and history, and make us followers and part of those who attest to his rightfulness.
محترم همکاران ارجمند، خانم ها و آقایان، خداوند را از توفیق حضور در این جمع آرزوی تاریخی بشر رسیدن به زندگی سعادتمند سرشار از زیبایی، آرامش، دوستی و کمال معنوی و انسانی بوده است. چند هزار سال تجربه تلخ و شیرین از یک سو و فرصت‌های فراوان برای ساختن آینده روشن و متناسب با شأن حقیقی انسان.
I praise the Almighty God for granting me the opportunity to attend this august gathering. The aspiration of all times of humanity has been the attainment of a prosperous life full of beauty, serenity, amity, and moral and spiritual perfection. Yet the interpreters are reading from a translated text.
It is okay. Mr. President, you can
continue with your address, please.
We have in front of us thousands of years of somewhat bitter and sweet experiences, along with abundant opportunities in order to build a better future in conformity with the true dignity of mankind and as the most gracious creation of God deserves. The most serious problems of the past millennia were derived from the inhumane and infected creeds accompanied by unfair and cruel management. In fact, the undemocratic and unjust governance structures of the decision-making bodies in international economic and political fields are the reasons behind most of the plights today humanity is confronting with. The demanding liberal capitalism and transnational corporations have caused the suffering of countless women, men and children in so many countries. The first decade of the current millennium, although marked by the UN General Assembly as the International Decade for the Culture of Peace, was unfortunately marred with war, occupation, carnage, wandering and intimidation. Fundamental reform of this undemocratic and unjust system to a fair and open one is essential. The world is in need of an encompassing and, of course, just and humane order in the light of which the rights of all are preserved and peace and security are safeguarded. This new order entails two elements, namely a theoretical basis along with required structures and managerial methods which are decisive factors in the formation and functioning of the new order. It is my firm belief that in the new millennium we need to revert to the divine mindset, to our true nature for which man was created, and indeed to the fair and just governance. Divine mindset based on the perfectionist and justice-seeking nature of mankind and on the monotheistic worldview is in fact the very heavenly mindset which makes the man's blissful talents blossom. Such mindset is mankind's guiding principle for a prosperous social life, adjusting his economic, cultural and political beings free from egoisms, hegemonic tendencies and envies. Meanwhile, just and fair governance based on divine mindset is a prerequisite and the guarantor for realization of justice, love and security in society. People and nations seek their eminence, dreams and aspirations in having amicable relations and fair cooperation and look for their identity through coexistence with others. Those that have not felt justice within their souls and are unable to control their rages and selfish desires, those who do not feel passionate towards others, those that are not touched when the people's rights are breached and widespread carnages happen, and those who are merely mindful of their own interests and their selfish, sectarian and materialistic pleasures cannot uphold justice and bring about prosperity. The third millennium ought to be the millennium in pursuit of the new order based on pure and righteous governance all over the world and in the centers of power. Now that the discriminatory order of capitalism and the hegemonic approaches are facing defeat and are getting close to their end, all-out participation in upholding justice and prosperous interrelations is essential. All should participate in a coordinated effort for putting in place the competent governance in the centers of the world power and for securing serenity, welfare, friendship, and sustainable peace and security. Since this great ideal is only attainable through the participation of all nations and states, I wish to propose that the second decade of this century be named by the UN as the decade for the joint global governance, and request all heads of states, thinkers, and global reformers, through consultation and empathy, to spare no effort in practical planning for the realization of this noble goal. Undoubtedly, this is an introduction to the bright destiny of mankind as promised by God, all prophets, the righteous and the saints, which will occur by resurrection of the promised one along with Jesus. Peace be upon them. Let us join hands and make of the third millennium the one in which all good deeds and beauties prevail and justice is upheld. Let us make God content by founding compassionate coexistence throughout the world. Peace be upon the promised one who will bring justice, peace, be upon all the good-hearted people and all the justice seekers. Peace be upon who has love for the mankind in heart and dream of his progress and eminence in mind. Peace be upon the millennium of freedom, righteousness, and beauty. Thank you very much.